Welcome back. Welcome in. It's Country Roads Confidential at earsports.com. It's a Paramount podcast. I am Mike Casaza.
You are? Are you sure?
I am.
For you viewers, Mike is
Oh, yeah.
beardless. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, who is this? Who is this
Yeah.
man on my
Halloween.
podcast?
Halloween.
Ah,
Costume required to shave. So,
got it.
but yeah, a lot has changed, Chris. Did we call this one?
I mean, we called that Houston might have been fraudulent, and
Yeah.
they at times looked fraudulent. I don't know if I called or we called West Virginia looking as good as they did, because I mean, there's obviously two parts to all of this stuff. Houston is not as good as their record indicated or their ranking. That's clear. I think you and I agreed on this. We talked about it at length on the preview pod. But I remember multiple times saying, well, but is West Virginia, I'm not sure West Virginia's good enough to expose their fraud.
Yeah.
Well, they sure look like it today. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to take credit for it and say that we called this. I did not see 45 points coming.
Mm-mm.
Um, it was pretty early, pretty evident pretty early they had something going on offense. They'd figure some things out, which is good. But you did have questions about what would happen if I mean, could Houston pick itself back up after what sounds like a pretty emotional week there when you read some of the reporting from down there and also the high of highs last week? But then you get a look at what's going on in Arizona State. Maybe that's not that impressive. An 11 a.m. start in Houston. There's a lot going on there. Just I don't know. It just didn't seem like it was the worst situation for West Virginia to walk into. I didn't hate the spot for them last week. Chris, you noticed the point spread this week?
Started at 13 and a half, went up to 17 and a half, came back down, then back up. Is that right?
It was at 12 this morning, 12 and a half,
Oh, back down.
at 12 and a half at kick, I think. So it was strange. So I think there was some hope maybe that people would have a good football game here. It'd be enjoyable. It wouldn't be like some of these recent ones of West Virginia. But then you remember last week in that game late, this was far more, well, one, entertaining. It was a fun game for a long time for sure. Probably the brand of football that Rodriguez wants to bottle and take with him. Never mind the offseason, these final three games now, and then into the offseason for momentum, vibes, the mood, all that stuff. This was probably way closer to what he envisioned than what he'd seen in recent weeks.
Yeah, hold on, Mike. I'm putting together my bowl projections for West Virginia now. Do you want to put in your picks, Nat? No?
All right, so they're going to stomp Colorado, right? And then of course they're going to get Texas Tech overlooking them, and they come home. They got to beat Arizona State and their third string quarterback. Because I'm going to guess they're going to bench the second string quarterback by the time they play West Virginia, just to play ahead to next year. Maybe Jordan Tyson will be out for the year too. Maybe that shoulder injury will just cost him some time, and he'll want to recuperate for 2026. I think it's all there, Chris.
It's
Six
all
and
it's all
six,
lining up, baby, for
6 and
the
6.
what bowl would 6 and 6 be? I'm trying to think. It's been so long, unfortunately, since I put together the bowl projection story for West Virginia that I can't even remember what the bottom of the barrel is for the Big 12 bowl tie-ins are right now. But
We're gonna go there. Hey, listen, I don't want to poke fun. We're having fun right now
yeah,
talking about how they might win 6 games, but played really well today. And just moments you're thinking, man, they're doing everything right. And when it didn't, and here's the thing too, when they make a mistake, it did seem costly at times, but they did so many things right. Offensively, defensively, special teams, forcing turnovers, capitalizing. Coaching was very good. You could see some things changing during the game, had the right players on the field in the right spots. I don't think you could, yeah, but very much about this game. Never mind that it comes at this stage of this particular season. I think if you played this game in September, you'd be pretty happy with the outcome. If it happens to be at the end of a 5 game losing streak, you feel even better. Take nothing away from them. They played well.
all right, let's start at the top then. Scotty Fox, because that was a hot topic last week. Solid play by him down the stretch of the last game, most passing yards by a true freshman. Several questions in our mailbag. Hey, is this the guy? If not, with your hesitation, what does he need to show? And I believe my answer to that was, pretty much no matter what he shows of his last 4 games, unless he wins all 4 games by himself, West Virginia is still going for a transfer quarterback. That still hasn't changed. I still believe that's not changing. Did he show more positive stuff today? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's another step. You got to stack these things, and he's now stacked two in a row, two solid performances in a row. Pulled up the final box score. I was like, what did he throw for? 250? 157? What? It felt like he did a lot more today. Like, I mean, I know you can't just count on passing yards. Obviously, he ran the ball well, had two rushing touchdowns, but even with the passing, I thought it was more than 157. If you watched with your eyeballs, if you watched this game, you said that guy is a FBS caliber, Power Four caliber quarterback. Again, that's not the bar you want to set. You want to set it higher, and he can still get higher. Still, true freshman. Throw it out there, just a reminder. But I thought it was a very good performance by him today, and stats are solid. I mean, he accounted for three touchdowns, ran for 65 yards. It felt like he did even more.
They ever felt like they were in danger again? Like,
Yeah.
also, he hasn't turned the ball over yet, right?
Well, not since Pitt, right?
Yeah, these last, I mean, since he's been in the spotlight here, he hasn't
Yeah.
turned the ball over. Like the thing that got him nudged out the field and in like the recesses of our mind, the turnovers against Pitt. But like, we're talking 63 throws the last two games, I think.
Hmm.
And I don't remember like or that was a bad decision. I mean, I don't remember that, which is a striking thing for a young player like this too. Yeah, I don't think it changes what we talked about. I'm not ready to say let's take the high six figures and devote it to other positions. I still think you want a quarterback here. That's a good defense though. Like I'm not sure TCU's defense is not going to have more days like that against other teams like they had before. We mentioned that last week. They are vulnerable against the pass. Houston's defense, that was their team. And you saw like it got picked apart today a little bit. It got pushed around by an offensive line. And Fox made some plays when he had to. The highlights here will seem like more than 157 yards. I'm with you 100%, but I just thought he was in command. They asked him to do things. They had no reservations putting him on the field for fourth down. They were 1 for 6 on fourth down last week, Chris. They're 4 for 4 today. That's I mean, that's indicative of a major stride forward, I think. They end up with 30 minutes possession, 75 plays, 5.5 yards a snap, and 12.1 yards per completion. It's a pretty good number. So connect on a few more things. Hit the weight so you don't underthrow Cam Vaughn. Just small things like that is what you're saying because I think you got to be pretty happy with that. But also probably pretty happy he's got a couple more games to answer this question. Like the season isn't over now. If he does this and more, maybe more toward like the numbers, the quality of last week and this week, but if he gets some wins and the numbers are good, I think you feel great about the position if you go out and you got somebody else. You have two solid ones here. And how many have they used this year? They've used what, four quarterbacks to start
Yeah.
games? You need more than one for sure.
Well, and again for Fox, like he's grown so much because that Pitt game, those interceptions he threw, that was a scared and I just want to throw the ball quarterback. That was a high school kid, is what it looked like. It looked like a high school kid that was playing out of his element.
Mhm.
And there was the play, and it got talked about, but now for the reasons I'm going to talk about here, it was the one where uh, Chemo Chemo and Tykeus Crawford, right guard, right tackle, miscommunication. Defender for Houston just goes right between them with Crawford blocking nobody, and he just gets a free shot on Fox. And he's obviously very quickly into Fox's face. And there is a receiver off to the right side running like I think it was either a hitch or a quick out.
Mhm.
And there is a defender draped all over him. Scotty Fox of week 3 is throwing that ball right there and getting picked, maybe a pick six. Scotty Fox week was it 10? Week 10, Scotty Fox throws it 10 yards over that guy's head, clearly to a receiver, so there's no intentional grounding,
Yeah.
but clearly not for anybody to catch. And that's, it's just some still, he threw it away. Yeah. Did you see him against Pitt? Like, he didn't throw it away. He threw it directly to Pitt defenders. And now he's throwing it away. And he's not completely panicking when there's a defender running free at him. So I think he's developing quickly, which is, again, very good sign.
He does this today. He's a true freshman. It's his third start. His running back is a redshirt freshman who wasn't playing earlier this year.
Hmm.
So you have let's say Fox is your, let's say fourth quarterback. I know they mentioned he was the
They
fifth
they
string.
said fifth on the TV. If I can't trust what they say on television, Mike, what can I trust?
So fourth quarterback, your running back. I mean, he was I don't know, fourth running back too. The offensive line, even in ordinary state, is still the offensive line, but your left guard is guy who wasn't playing in this year. Your right guard is a guy who was not good enough to play last week at left guard and is now at right guard. Your right tackle has been problematic at times, didn't play last week. That's a lot going on, a lot to manage and worry about. It just seemed like he had a certain togetherness. That stuff wasn't on his mind. Oh, I'm a true freshman. Oh, this guy's never really carried the ball 28 times in a game. All these linemen aren't that good. Didn't seem like it bothered him too much. By the way, he had some really good defensive linemen coming after him, like a top 25 defense, never mind top 25 opponent. That defense has been statistically very successful this year, but from the very beginning, you could just tell that they had something on offense. The runs out wide were going good. They were blocking on the perimeter. They were getting pushed when it was inside, and the defense was really flying around that first quarter. Had to happen.
Wanted to talk real quick about that offensive line, some of that movement there, because I reached out to a couple linemen that I've talked to over the years that have, gone on to play, not just at WVU, but other places. And because Walter Youngbear, I mean, I think I said Chemo earlier was the right guard with Crawford at right tackle, but it was Walter Youngbear at right guard when this was happening. And I remember thinking early on, he looked pretty solid at right guard. Like he looked like he was playing well. And I don't know if it finished strong, but I said to myself, what is this? Like he struggles mightily at left guard, moves to right guard, and is now good. Like, how does that work? And so I reached out to a couple linemen, and one said to me, obviously the first response was like, "Hey, it might just be a one-off thing. We all have our good and bad days." Da 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 da. And then he said, because what I pointed out was he'd always played left guard. When he was at Tulsa, it was all left guard. He's like 1,587 snaps, and like 1,560 of them are left guard. But his entire high school career was right tackle.
Yeah.
And this lineman said to me, that could be it. He might be very comfortable in a right-handed stance and could never truly feel comfortable with the left. I hated playing on the right side. It felt so awkward because I played left my whole high school career. I don't know. I mean, just something to tuck away because I couldn't explain it. Was it the greatest performance you've ever seen from a right guard? No. But like just think to how bad things have been on the interior of that offensive line for the entirety of the season. And today there was Mike, I believe the word is push.
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing that correctly? Push, like forward, not pulling forward because that's illegal apparently,
Mhm.
but pushing forward. They pushed forward today, the offensive line.
Um, third and three or less, they were 2 for 3 today. They were 13 for 30 this season going into that. And then again, those fourth down plays are important too. The right side, I think, had just a dreadful series though. When it looked like Fox maybe got hurt at the end of the first half, they just caved in that right side on back-to-back plays and sent him to the ground. So not perfect, but better for sure. Better like Cray. I know Cray had the penalty, and I mean that's a minor thing, but he had some good movement on his side. Had him pulling at times too.
Hmm.
Just some creative things that a little more confident with who they have and what they're doing there too. I do want to talk about the defense though. Give up 35. Good receiver. The quarterback's talented. The quarterback will make mistakes, as we saw. One interception. I don't know if you put that on him. The pick six is bad. He was one of the most fumble prone players in the country. They get 6 fumbles before today come in. I think he had 3 more today. So he'll endanger the team for sure. And then West Virginia really pressured him, got after him. Number 0 was all over the field at times. Perry was active. And then, it's funny, like when corners and safeties see it happening in front of them, like they see defensive linemen getting after them, they see linebackers going downhill, hitting running backs. All of a sudden, those corners and safeties play a tick faster. And then you have Chambers jumping the pass and getting the pick six. You have I think like even the play that Coates on the pick on, like he's there, he's in the play, he makes the play. He wasn't beat, he just makes the play. The interception bats in the air for Carter. Or was it Carter? It was Carter. Just good things happen back there all across the field is my point. And if you're going to down the road and you're going to give up 35, but you have an offense that scores 45, that's kind of the formula they had to have this year. They haven't had it very often. But even though 35 points, I didn't think it was a terrible day by the defense against an offense that probably played better today than what you and I expected or had witnessed as we were getting ready for this game.
Yeah, havoc, man. That's a havoc rate. We talk about it every preseason. We talk about how they need to create it. Today was it. Yeah, they gave up 35 points, but 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 2 more pass breakups on top of that, 2 more hits of the quarterback, 2 forced fumbles. I mean, not all those fumbles were forced, but how many times did Houston put the ball on the ground today? Like, and West Virginia just seemed to be all over the place. I can't wait to see the pressure numbers because even without the sacks, it felt like West Virginia was in his face the entire game. So solid performance. I felt like on a lot of levels. I mean, again, there's the big issue for this team is whenever it goes bad, it is way bad. Like it's just it didn't feel like it didn't feel like, and maybe I'll just click on drives right now and find out if I'm wrong, but it didn't feel like Houston was getting, West Virginia's first 2 drives were 12 plays, 75 yards, 10 plays, 89 yards. Houston's, it felt like, and I'm looking right now, 7 for 75, 8 for 75, 5 for 40. Like they would just they would get chunk plays, huge big plays, and that's been a problem for this defense all year long. Even though again today, lots of turnovers, lots of havoc, but boy, when they miss big.
Yep. The thing is, if you're going to give up 35, you better do something to affect the game positively. To get those turnovers is a really big deal. Houston allowed 17 points off turnovers all season. They allowed 17 today. West Virginia had scored 20 points off turnovers. They scored 17 today, and not for nothing, that last turnover on the punt, it's a huge play. I don't think that West Virginia loses that game if the punt goes through, but it takes all the drama out of it too, and that was significant. And again, short drives. You're talking, Chris, like the average time on the field for the defense today was 2:15 for West Virginia. That's not very long.
Yeah.
Um, it just seemed like it was an overall healthy operation for them too. Some streaks that end here. All right, would have been the longest losing streak since '86, 6 in a row. That's gone. Never been 0-5 in a conference. 11 games lost in a row against ranked teams. What is the number for road ranked losses? Because that goes back to 2018, correct?
Yeah, I think that was 8 or 9 in a row. Because yeah, it was 2018 was the last time that West Virginia won on the road. Let's see.
God, those numbers are wild.
I sent that to you, but I can't remember where it is now.
Yeah.
But
So there's that. You have I'm looking at these things here. They were one of 20 teams that had a conference win, so that's smaller now. And then here's like again, first score in the first quarter since the Ohio game. They hadn't led since the Pitt game. And Chris, they had not had the lead with the ball since the third quarter of that game. That's 68 straight possessions.
good God.
Like that is brutal. And all of a sudden, if you're up 7-0, it'll be fun, 14-0, and that's
Yeah.
14-0, and then of course it gets even again. But just they were not deflated, and it just seemed like they had something offensively they believed in today. And I don't know if it was stretching things out. I don't know. Everybody's had a good game and it surprised everybody. That would surprise me, but just leaning on Hubbard, giving Bowers the touches and spots. Like I was wondering where Bowers was for a while. Like he had one touch and it was a touchdown. But like, oh, where's he at? Why isn't he playing? All of a sudden, he ends up the day with I think 9 carries, 9 for 65. So they got him touches and he was important, like a different back, not as big as Hubbard. He's really quick. I think Hubbard's fast too. And like again, he looked pretty nimble around the goal line on a couple of his touches down there too. Just I don't know. Overall, just not a lot of bad stuff to say. I mean, I don't want to be critical when they win 45-35, but just that's the nature of this one here. Like there just isn't a whole lot you go. You ain't got to worry about that, especially in this season too, because you spent so much time airing out their laundry. We would be familiar with some of those topics, but I don't really have a whole lot to run up the flagpole here today.
No, because again, you saw glimpses all over the field. Even again, we talked about the defense. At times looked bad, but at times looked amazing. At time it looked like a winning defense, and they made the plays when they needed to. That Jordan Scruggs reading the deep and just jumping in front of the pass, that was awesome. I mean, he was reading it the entire way. Fred Perry was all over the place. I think he got was it after a sack or was it right after he forced the interception? I just remember being like, "Oh, Fred Perry, have I heard his name a lot today?" And I pull up the box score and he's already got 12 tackles. I think he finished with 13. I was like, "Oh, yeah, he's everywhere." And nine solo tackles. Like again, some of these guys rack up quote unquote tackles because it's all assists, but it was him, baby. He was everywhere. Um, Jamori Robinson, he gets a tackle. I don't know if they credit him for a tackle for loss or if they said it was a 0 yard game, but he was right in the middle there and then gets the fumble recovery after, you know, breaking his tie with Khalil Wilkins for solo tackles on the year. And yeah. I mean, Devin Grant,
Oh, what a
one
difference
thing.
he's been.
I like the past 2 weeks, he's just been outstanding. And again, I'm looking at him like, where is he? I'm looking at the top of the list. Again, this is where sometimes it feels like box scores lie because I'm looking at the top of the list. I just scroll on down like 15 players before I see he only has two tackles. How does he only have two tackles? It felt like he was everywhere. Of course, he had sack, tackle for loss, forced fumble, very much involved each of the last 2 weeks. He seems to be a big difference maker.
Corey McIntyre Jr. again. A lot
Hmm.
of snaps. Also, this new number 93 playing in the middle. You see him?
Number 93.
It's normally wears 69.
Oh, Nate Gabriel.
Yeah. Like I don't know where he came. I was like, who is this guy? And all of a sudden they flashed into him. I was like, oh, he must have like torn his jersey or something. Actually, I think his jersey had his name on it, so it probably wasn't a replacement. Like maybe sometimes they get ripped or
Hmm.
bloodied or something like that, and you put on a new one. But he was 93 with his name on it too. So I don't know if he changed it or not, but he was good. McIntyre was good, and like they something else too is Siders. I think Siders has been kind of like overlooked, underrated. That guy plays hard. Like he plays different positions. They have him doing like just multiple things. Like I know that they said he was covering a receiver once today. He wasn't. They were using him to like bracket the tight end.
Hmm.
Like you're asking a defensive end to do that. Like he came off the ground, I think. Maybe he was the bandit at that point. But either way, they're playing him a defensive end and bandit. But they also had him running with a 6'7" tight end to play like double team coverage. And he goes out and he ends up trying to make a play on a receiver on it was a screen or something quick. But he can do that stuff. They didn't ask him to cover the receiver, but he ended up putting himself in that play. He plays hard, and I've talked to teams that played West Virginia. Like that guy shows up on tape all the time, and I mean, he has today 3 tackles, 2 solo, forced a fumble that I thought maybe he recovered. That was really bizarre.
Yeah.
I'm sure people want us to spend time on officiating today. I would just say this: I note the complaints. Um, it was interesting.
The
There
the
was some
PI
things.
the PI calls by the back judge. Now I only counted two, and I guess I could just click on the penalty thing and look. But as I was typing, that those were two horrific pass interferences on deep balls over the middle. He just it seemed very eager to throw them.
Mhm.
And as I'm typing, that's two horrific calls. The TV pans to Rich Rodriguez, who is as red as the Houston Cougars logo and holding up three fingers, screaming at the back judge. That's three. So there's another one he didn't like in there. I guess it was oh, there was a holding call too. Maybe it was the same back judge that called that one.
Yeah, I don't know what the one on. I think it was on Coates. Like the receiver fell and Coates just kept his
Yeah.
feet kept running. Like what's he supposed to do? And the one on Boyce, Boyce had a big game too, having to play in the back without Walker. And like Boyce hasn't been stretched out that much, and he was. I know he gets a PI, but he wasn't bad today. I don't think.
No.
Um, I don't know what he's supposed to do there. He's supposed to go for the ball. The guy runs through him. Like that's is it offensive pass interference then? Because he went for the ball and the guy went up through him. I don't know. That was strange. And then I think my favorite penalty of the day, and we maybe have officials. We definitely have too many rules, but we maybe have officials who just need to do this. Just go. You know what? That was cool and just whatever. But when Donovan Haslam carries the running back across
Yeah.
the first down marker, how is that different than a tush push? I
Don't
don't
know.
like what's the I know it's not the same. I get it, but like he's trying to help this guy over, and you see them push the pile across the goal line every so often, and he didn't pick him up and carry him like a football. He just fell down with him and got him across, and I was like, that was good. It was an effort play, right? Why are we dinging him for that? And then a huge play after that. Again, here's like the difference in West Virginia today and early this season. Something like that happens, they end up punting, or it's a first down, and it turns into I think it was 3rd and 6, maybe 3rd and 9, 3rd and 9 because they mark it from the spot and they get a huge pass play to Weimer right after that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the difference. Like early in the season, they make a mess out of that. Like they can't handle a good thing, right? This time they make the best of a bad situation, which is sign of progress because they had not had that before. And certainly a fun playing ride home. They'd lost, what, 5 in a row on the road, 4 this year, 1 last year to Texas Tech. That playing ride will be fun today, I'm sure.
Yeah. And by the way, before we go, I'm glad you shouted out Israel Boyce because
Mhm.
he's a guy that started the year. He was the guy starting. Played 20 snaps in the season opener and essentially got relegated to like second, third team. I mean, it was like 20 snaps and then two the following week, and then like a handful and handful. And then last week, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, it was like he's right back in it. He's at like 30 some snaps and then 20 some last week. And I don't know where he's going to be this week, but it's probably going to be in that range or more again this week. So that that's tough, man. Like where you go from being the starter and the guy to being not irrelevant because you're still around, but to being out of the picture on the defense to then being right back into it and not, moping or anything like that. That's kudos for him.
We end up, as we do on Thursdays here, the things we were going to talk about to end the game. I think I talked about the middle quarters.
Hmm.
I think I did. West Virginia gets off to the hot start, 14-7, but 14 nothing early. That was huge, I think, just because you don't have to carry that around. And then you make it a game. Like you're not going to play catch up against Houston, I don't think, because their defense is too good. Question mark. We saw maybe the opposite of that today, but you just like your chances better if you're punching in the first quarter. And they were 14-7. But those middle two quarters, that's when Houston does a lot of work. They adjust, they get their game going. They outscore West Virginia, but it's only 21-17. And the way that West Virginia played the third quarter, that seemed like if they were rocked by going into the halftime tied, they came out and played pretty well in that third quarter. And I actually thought the field goal was kind of a big deal just because it got points. They seemed like they were comfortable and confident. Like, oh my gosh, they kicked a field goal. It's a bomb. It's 50 yards with plenty of leg too. And that adds to, I mean, everybody's having a good day and you kind of feel like it's you, but it added an extra possession at the end of the game for Houston. Instead of it being 42-35, and who knows if they field that punt. If they
Yeah.
field that punt, it's 42-35, different game. 45-35 because they get the extra 3 points. But I just like their middle quarter. I thought they played pretty well. And they just continued what they were doing. They did not, again, they go in even at the half. I get that. But they played well in the third quarter. And they did not seem like they were going to have one good quarter and wilt. And in fact, they had maybe their best quarter in the fourth.
See, I'm getting too old. I don't even remember how. I got so many hot takes. I can't even remember what I said at the end of the pod for what we're going to talk about. I thought it was trenches, and I hope it was because I can't remember. But if it was the trenches, then
Pressure?
was it getting pressure on their quarter? Oh, that's right. It was getting pressure on their quarterback because he was so bad under pressure.
Mhm.
And well, they did that. Two interceptions, handful of sacks, handful of tackles for loss. Again, I can't wait to see what the actual pressure numbers say, but felt like West Virginia was in his face all day long.
Yeah, he had the Irish spring football. He couldn't hold it in his hands for a while
Hmm.
and made a mess back there too. Big play that changed the game is the Chambers pick six. Sorry, Scruggs pick six.
Scruggs pick six, and then what was the other one? There was another one that flipped it like 20-30%. I think it was the Scotty Fox fourth down touchdown run because
Oh my
a lot
God,
of
let's talk
times in
about
those,
that.
yeah, a lot of the times those win probabilities like assume on fourth down that you're going to punt or attempt a
Mhm.
field goal. And so it was down to whatever it was. And then obviously he busts through for a fairly easy touchdown run. It's easy for me to say, but God, you and I both were like, oh my God, look at this defense. Like, what is this?
They pulled a line there was like a safety. I'm guessing they pulled up and they put him at the corner, and then the guy who was on the corner just roamed back to the deep left for some reason, and nobody was in the middle. And like I'm serious, like if you've watched West Virginia, they go empty. It's gonna be a draw. Almost, and especially on fourth and what was it, fourth and four? Like they're
Yeah,
not
fourth
throwing
and
the
four.
ball there, right? Like that was a weird thing. Just call your timeout. You're in total disarray, right? The down is way more important than the timeout at that point. Call a timeout, and they didn't. West Virginia takes advantage again. Just made the best of a lot of good things. That's good. All right, so normal Sunday coming up. We'll have snap counts. We'll have some things we weren't expecting, which might be voluminous based on all the stuff we've talked about here. A win for West Virginia, Chris. You have your normal Sunday fare that'll be actually accomplished rankings.
They plays that changed the game. It's
Oh,
back. It's up. It might be up tonight. It might be up Saturday night. It's the first time I've been able to do it for a while. I don't do it just when West Virginia wins. I do it when there's like some fluctuation in odds. And unfortunately, for the last several weeks, it's been, hey, West Virginia's got a 15% chance. Now 10, now 5, now 0. This one had some excitement. It flip-flopped over 50% multiple times. So this should be a good one.
all right, plenty coming up. Check us out on the website. Basketball Monday, but football winning again in Morgantown. Excuse me, basketball Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Interviews Monday. Football back to winning in Morgantown. See, it's got me all messed up. I'm not expecting.
Hmm.
Until then, I'm Mike Kazaza.
And I'm Chris Anderson.
We will talk to you then.